Scroll interactions are a must-have. Now I want to move on to one of the most important websites of the last month. Don't disturb the user experience of the website and the customer as he consumes the content on the website. So this is again a perfect example of creating a really clear and minimal UX and UI without having a lot of content. As a self-taught designer and in my many years of experience in the design world, I've always tried many different ways to study layout, web design, motion design, and for myself I found that the best way to learn all those kind of things was to deconstruct award-winning websites done by professional web designers. And hopefully this is gonna be the best way to learn web design for you too, because today we're gonna deconstruct 4 award-winning websites done by professional and really famous web designers. So let's jump right into it. First website that we're going to deconstruct is the Kaby-Lame homepage and landing page by Icon Magazine, because I think that it is the perfect example of creating a really interesting layout and UI and UX without having a lot of content, because I know that it's okay, it's fairly easy, it's much easier to work with a lot of content because you can place everything wherever you want, but if you have very little content, it's hard to create a really nice website without making it feel empty. So this is a perfect example, because as we scroll down we can see that we have all those interactions that make the website full of details, yet we don't have a lot of content, because as you can notice here we just have a title, some images, and those details that add depth and character to the page. So it's extremely simple again, but it has a lot of details and it lets you understand how to create a really beautiful and flawless experience without having a lot of content. And going through all the pages, we're going to see that one of the things that is common to all those award-winning websites is the use of animations and interactions to really create something really particular with a lot of character and a really nice UX. So this is again a perfect example of creating a really clear and minimal UX and UI without having a lot of content. And the beauty of this website also comes from the fact that these are not animations played one time like with a scroll trigger, but it's a scroll animation that makes everything way more interactive and enjoyable for the user. By the way, my friend, a small pause to remind you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, to see more content about web design, motion UI design, professional award-winning websites, all those kind of things. Smash the like button to help the channel grow. Leave a comment down below to tell me if this video is helping you so far and if you want to dive more deeply into a certain topics. So the first lesson that we can learn from this website is that we can create a really interesting and professional award-winning website with very few content. For example, in this website we just have some titles, some images, and some details added by these 3D elements. In this case, but you can add stickers to your website, other small images or icons. The second lesson that we can get right away is that the designer always played with a lot of visuals, photos, so impactful things and very dynamic things, because videos add a lot of motion into your website. Keep in mind to use them in order to create, if you don't have a lot of elements, keep in mind to use some videos. And also the designer added these 3D effects also to the videos in order to create more depth. Last takeaway of this website is consistency, because as you can see, the designer always used the same animations throughout the entire website. So in that way we keep consistency through all the animations for all the elements, and we can spot the titles right away. And in all the award-winning website we are going to see that there are always a lot of animations and micro interactions, not a lot in a way that you can feel overwhelmed, but something that allows the user to feel involved into the experience, that create a lot of motion and that add a lot of surprise as you scroll down the website. And we can see the same thing here in the Power Studio, because as we land on the page, first right away we can see that we have a mouse interaction. So as we move the mouse, we have this beautiful distortion of the title. So again, a lot of animation. Scroll interactions are a must-have, basically, if you want to create a professional looking website. And don't get me wrong, it's not always necessary, but it's a beautiful way if you want to add a lot of interactivity to your website and if you want to gamify your experiences. But we have this beautiful wave effect applied to all the images, and as you can see, again, here we don't have a lot of content. It's extremely minimal because we only have those images and really small titles that appears only on the hover of the images. But with these animations and these interactions, the website feels way more full, if you will. If we click on an image, we can see this beautiful seamless page transition, which is another thing that is really common in professional award-winning websites, to create a seamless experience, because this is the scope, the goal of those kind of animations. You want to create a really smooth and seamless transition between all the pages in order to don't disturb the user experience of the website and the customer as he consumes the content on the website. So we have this beautiful transition, we go on the page, and again here just a very subtle animation on the images, and then some titles and some text on the right side. So really beautiful minimal compositions, but they work very well because they have big visuals that are really impactful, and those subtle animations that are the details that is lacking otherwise from this very minimal composition. So let's go back to the homepage. We have mentioned micro interactions, and this is a must-have in each and every single one of your websites, because if you don't have micro interactions, you're lacking a huge part in the user experience of your website. And here, as we can see, it's very subtle, but it has the detail that this composition and this web page needs, because it's a really simple one, yet it's super editorial, and these small dots make a huge difference. Same thing on this exact website, we have these small micro interactions that add a lot of character and playfulness, because I've lost 5 minutes just playing with these call to actions, because the animation is extremely fluid, seamless, and going from one state to another. That's really important, because you want to create animations that are not staggering, that doesn't block in some way, or that doesn't do weird artifacts, but you want to create something that is really smooth and that plays out really well. That's a crucial thing, and if you have animations that don't play well, try to remove them or to improve them instead of putting them into the website as they are, because they don't add details, but they add something that disturbs the user. But friends, one of the easiest way to add details, a lot of details and personality to your websites and designs, is to actually reuse the same elements or one main elements throughout the entire website. You can see this example very clearly in this website, because we have this beautiful shape in the preloader that is going to be reused in the entire website. For instance, with the interaction of the navigation bar with the sections, we can see this detail right here on the right that creates this shape that we have already seen in the preloader. So the designer clearly wanted to reuse this shape in order to create a strong brand identity that is going to be remembered. So I'm going to remember this layout because it's super particular, but with one single element, and that's super fascinating, guys. Consistency, guys. In professional award-winning websites, consistency is one of the key elements. And as I said, as you can see here, again, we have this page transition. So one of the most common things in professional award-winning websites are page transitions to create something really seamless and fluid to consume. Like on social media platforms, one of the main focuses of the brands and companies is to actually reduce as much as possible the friction between the user experience and the end customer, because in that way we, of course, can let the user stick as much as possible to the platform, leading to more conversion rates or to higher engagement. Now I want to move on to one of the most important websites of the last months, because this experience won the Site of the Month award on the awards platform, which is an extremely important award for all the designers and companies out there. So this website has a lot of details, a lot of animations, and really particular things. So let's jump right into it and see what this website has to offer. The first thing that we can see right away from the get-go as we open the website is this beautiful animation applied to the text in the preloader, and it is this beautiful because, and that particular because it allows you to understand the mood of the website just with this one animation. And as we enter the website, we get punched in the face just with this big bold background video that adds a lot of personality to the website and continues the flow and style of the website. And this website is pretty exciting because we can clearly see the perfect application of a really good layout design in order to drive the user attention, because the designer right now in the first section, in the hero section, knows that our attention is in the middle of the screen due to all the people that are in the video that are in the center of the screen. So as we scroll down, our attention is going to be on the left side due to the title. So if you read the title, of course, our attention is going to be on the left. And because all of the rest of the content of this landing page is mainly in the middle of the screen, the designer again wanted to drive our attention in the center of the screen with this beautiful minimal composition and this again scroll interaction. Now our focus is in the center of the screen, and because of that we are going to be focused mainly on these call to actions, which are going to be the most important parts of the website because these are the feature works. So I think that for this brand, the most important part of the landing page is to showcase their works, and it's beautifully done because we don't have any distraction, but our focus is completely on the links with this beautiful hover effect, and these images also have a beautiful effect that is completely on brand. In award-winning websites, we usually don't see a lot of crazy revolutionary things, but we see small variants of things that other designers experimented in the past, but done in a different way with a lot of character and with a lot of more details. Last 3 things that I want to point out super fast in this landing page. They are genius moves and they add a lot of character and personality and sometimes playfulness to the website. And the first one is this 3D scan of the staff of Locomotive, which I think is a genius move because overall the website feels very professional and serious, but they've added a lot of personality and playfulness just with this one single element. Basically, I think it's beautiful. I think that it's genius. Next one, the micro interactions on the call to actions, because if you remember the animation applied to the text in the preloader, we can see the same animation applied to the call to actions, and I think that these add a lot of consistency through the style of the website, and it creates a very strong brand identity. These again are the details that make a huge difference in the user experience of a website, and you can see here all these call to actions have the same effect. We can see the same effect in the footer with all the call to actions. If we hover over them, we can see the same effect applied. And one last thing that I extremely love about this landing page, basically the location of the brand in a beautiful and unique way with these icons, the coordinates. I think that is super genius and adds a lot of personality. So I think that Locomotive is one of the best studios out there in terms of design and motion. You can see it from their website. Again, one of the most impactful and best things that you should add to your website in order to create a seamless UI and UX is to add page transitions, and in this website they are very smooth because you can't actually see the page transitions, and if you pay attention, even if you remember, all the animations that we see in the text and on the images are the same animations that we saw applied on the text in the preloader. So really strong brand, a perfect brand identity, and this is a perfect website to me. So at the end of the day, a really small recap of all the things that differentiate those award-winning websites from all the rest of the websites that you can find on the internet. First of all, very smooth micro interactions that are not glitchy, that are not staggering. The second crucial thing is consistency in the animations, in the content hierarchy, and in the brand identity of the website. Because, for example, in the last website that we deconstructed, we can see this beautiful animation applied on a sans serif typeface in the preloader, and we can see the same animation applied to the same typeface throughout the entire website, and that allows you to create a lot of hierarchy, a lot of consistency that doesn't bother the user, but that adds a lot of personality to the brand. The third takeaway of this video is to try to implement more of scroll interactions into your design and into your websites instead of normal animations that play 1 time or 2 times into your website, because in that way you create way more interesting stuff into your website. The user is more engaged and is more willing to consume more content into your website as it scrolls down. Also, you create a more interesting UX. So friends, this is how I've studied everything that I know as a self-taught designer. So how I deconstruct websites in order to study layout design, motion design, micro interactions, all those kind of things. Hopefully you found this video helpful, that you've learned something. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below if you want more videos like this one.